2013, Boston, Massachusetts. 26-year-old Zachary Tentoni followed a woman from Fields Corner T Station, late night, Dorchester area. She walked toward Harbor Middle School. He stayed behind her, waited for the right moment. Standard mugging setup. Follow the target, choose the location, execute the plan. Most criminals try to minimize evidence, leave nothing behind. Tentoni took a different approach. He decided to donate comprehensive documentation of his identity to investigators. Really helpful. The woman walked through the schoolyard. Tentoni approached from behind, grabbed her purse. She resisted briefly. He got it. $40 cash. ID, Charlie card for transit. Successful robbery. Got the valuables, now run. Don't leave anything behind. Basic procedure. Tentoni was carrying 2 bags, personal belongings, clothes, toiletries, shoes, important items. Also his birth certificate. Also a letter from his mother. When he grabbed the purse, he dropped the bags, left them at the scene. Took $40, left his entire identity. Really efficient trade. Cash for documentation. Probably not what business schools teach about value exchange. Think about the decision-making here. You're committing a robbery. You have bags containing identifying information. Birth certificate with your full name and birth year. Letter from your mother with your name on it. The robbery requires both hands. You can either put the bags down safely, come back for them, or drop everything and run. Tentoni chose option 3. Drop the bags, grab the purse, run without your identity documents. The $40 was apparently worth more than his birth certificate. Different value assessment than most people would make. Police arrived, found the victim, found the dropped bags, opened them, discovered clothes, toiletries, shoes, then found the birth certificate. Zachary Tentoni, born 1987. Clear identification, full legal name, birth year, everything needed. Also found the letter. From his mother, addressed to Zachary. Additional confirmation. The investigation solved itself. Usually police gather evidence, interview witnesses, build cases. This involved reading documents the suspect donated. Really streamlined. The birth certificate detail is remarkable. Most people keep that document safe. Important for identification. Needed for official purposes. Hard to replace. Tentoni brought his to a mugging, then dropped it, left it with police. Like providing a business card, but worse. Business cards don't have your birth year. Don't prove your identity legally. Birth certificates do both. He essentially filed paperwork for his own arrest. Very organized, very thorough, just pointing the investigation in the wrong direction, or the right direction for police. Wrong for him. The letter from his mother adds emotional weight. She wrote to him, addressed it personally. He carried it with him. Important enough to keep, not important enough to hold on to during a robbery. Priorities. Some things matter more than others. Apparently $40 mattered more than maternal correspondence. Different people value different things. Tentoni valued immediate cash over personal documents and family letters. That's a choice. Not a good choice, but definitely a choice he made. 1:35 in the morning. Few hours after the robbery. Police found Tentoni 1 block from the crime scene. 1 block. He robbed someone. Dropped his identification, ran away, made it 1 block, then stopped. Stayed in the immediate area. Maybe he realized he lost his bags. Came back to look. Didn't find them because police had them. Or maybe he just didn't go far. Either way, 1 block isn't much distance. Most getaway plans involve more geography, creating space between you and the crime. Tentoni's plan involved staying nearby. Really convenient for arrest logistics. Police approached him, asked his name. He said John Foisey, 20 years old. Completely different person. Different name, different age. False identity. Bold strategy when police already had his birth certificate. They knew exactly who he was. Had legal documentation with his name. His real age. 26, not 20. The false identity attempt was pointless. Like lying about your height when someone has a measuring tape. Evidence contradicts you immediately. Apparently thought they wouldn't check. The victim identified him. Confirmed he was the robber. Police had the bags with his name. Had the victim's identification. Had the suspect 1 block away. Had him lying about his identity. Everything needed for arrest and prosecution. Tentoni provided most of it himself. The bags, the documents, the proximity, the false name that highlighted consciousness of guilt, really did the work for them. Community policing through criminal cooperation. Imagine being the police officer in this situation. You respond to a robbery call, find dropped bags, open them, see a birth certificate. Well, that makes things easy. Then you find the suspect 1 block away. He gives a fake name. You look at the birth certificate. Look at him. Look back at the certificate. Are you sure your name is John? The investigation practically does itself. No detective work needed. Just documentation review and basic geography. The Harbor Middle School location matters. School, yard. Public place. Where children play. Where people walk through regularly. Not a remote location. Not somewhere you can search for dropped items discreetly. Tentoni left his personal belongings in a schoolyard, where anyone could find them, where police would definitely search, where his stuff would be immediately discovered. If he wanted to retrieve the bags, he picked the worst location. If he didn't want them found, same problem. No good outcome from that choice. The timing shows poor planning. Late night robbery. Get $40 and a transit card. Lose birth certificate and mother's letter. Net result negative. The cash doesn't replace those documents. Can't use $40 to prove identity. Can't buy a new mother's letter. Bad economics. Traded valuable documents for minimal cash. Most people do cost-benefit analysis before major decisions. Apparently this wasn't considered major, just grab and go. The proximity to the T station is notable too. Fields Corner. Public transit. The victim came from there. Tentoni could have followed her. Could have taken transit in the opposite direction. Left the area entirely. Instead stayed within 1 block. Maybe thought police wouldn't search nearby. Maybe didn't have transit fare. Ironic if true. Needed to rob someone for transit money. Then couldn't use it because police caught him immediately. Short-term planning with shorter-term results. 26 years old. Old enough to know better. Young enough to make terrible choices. The age where you should understand consequences. Have some life experience. Make reasoned decisions. Tentoni demonstrated none of these. Followed someone to mug them. Dropped his identification. Stayed nearby. Lied poorly when caught. Each decision worse than the last. Building a case against himself. Progressive self-incrimination. Really committed to the process. The John Foisey alias is interesting. Why that name? Random choice. Someone he knew. Did he think police wouldn't check? When you're caught 1 block from a robbery. When police have your birth certificate. When the victim can identify you. The fake name doesn't help. It just adds another charge. False identification. Makes the arrest easier to justify. Shows you knew you were in trouble. Demonstrated consciousness of guilt. Really helpful for prosecution. The bags contained toiletries and clothes. Suggests possible homelessness or transience. Someone carrying their belongings, which makes losing them even worse. If you're living out of bags, dropping them is catastrophic. Losing everything you own, plus your birth certificate, plus personal correspondence, for $40. The desperation is understandable. The execution was terrible. Even desperate situations require some planning, some thought about consequences. Tentoni skipped that part. The mother's letter creates a narrative. She wrote to him, cared enough to correspond, he carried it, valued it enough to keep, then dropped it during a robbery. What would she think reading news reports? My son lost the letter I wrote him while mugging someone. Also lost his birth certificate. Not the family pride moment anyone wants. The letter probably didn't say, go rob people and leave your identification behind. But that's what happened. Different outcome than maternal advice usually produces. Police probably kept that birth certificate as evidence, which means Tentoni needed to get a replacement, pay fees, fill out forms, wait for processing, all because he dropped the original while committing a crime. The administrative consequences alone are annoying. Never mind the criminal charges, the arrest, the court dates, the potential jail time. Just replacing the birth certificate is a hassle. He created that problem, actively caused it, by dropping his bags during a robbery. The case became cautionary. This is why you don't bring important documents to crimes, police training, legal education, theft prevention seminars. Tentoni's bags got discussed repeatedly. Here's someone who literally left his identity at the crime scene. Teaching example, educational material, free content for instructors. All because one person decided $40 was worth more than his birth certificate, and a letter from his mom really contributed to public education, just not in the way anyone intended.